Hello and welcome to today's program where we are taking a look on what is happening in Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso's president Ibrahim Traore has declared childbirth free in all government hospitals. He questioned why women should pay to bring life into the world, recalling how his own mother nearly lost him due to delivery costs. This is something very important because if you go to other countries, you could actually see that it's very, very expensive to get maternal health. And this is a step in the right direction because this is going to make sure that women will have access to maternal health. And, when you have leaders like Ibrahim Traore, then you could understand the impact he is going to make across Africa. So, leaders in Africa, they have been, inactive in terms of service delivery, but seems as if Ibrahim Traore is actually changing course and bringing a new and different Africa. So what you need to note is that this is a good move. He is touching everywhere. He is actually doing great in terms of bringing change across Africa. And that is something which has been expected by a lot of people. The biggest question which we have is, will he live long? And will other African leaders also follow suit? Because there is now need for African leaders to be united. There is now need for African leaders to speak with one voice and to be pursuing one common goal, which is to develop their own nations, number one, which is to make sure that they lessen the burden on their own people. They need to make sure that there is clean water, there is access to electricity, there is access to healthcare, there is access to education. But the biggest questions which have been asked are that what is the impact of Ibrahim Traore in Africa? And we can talk of a lot of things, but number one, Ibrahim Traore has become a symbol of anti-colonial and sovereignist movements. What it means is Ibrahim Traore is now representing Africans in a different way. He is now a symbol of how Africans can develop themselves. He is now an example of African effectiveness. It shows that Africans, they can be effective, and this is something which we are seeing. When we are talking about national sovereignty, it shows that African nations can develop on their own without taking loans from anybody, without being controlled by anybody. And Ibrahim Traore has set an example. He expelled the French military from Burkina Faso. What it means is it's a sign that there is a reduction in terms of foreign military presence, and there's also an issue of Pan-African cooperation. We are seeing so many countries agreeing with Ibrahim Traore in terms of how everything is happening. He's uniting Africa. There are so many protests which are happening, solidarity protests. That is Pan-Africanism. And he's inspiring different youth movements across other countries and in neighboring countries like Mali, Niger, Guinea, and beyond. And what it means is you are going to see a different Africa going forward. So whether he lives or not, Africa will see or will sense a different kind of change in the few years to go. And also, there is something very important, which is a shift in military alliances. What it means is Africa is going to create its own military alliances, something which is very, very important, and something which is going to be of more value to the Africans themselves. And what we are seeing is that Traore is pushing for a major geopolitical realignment, which includes expelling of French troops. We've seen so many countries expelling French troops from their own countries following Burkina Faso. We have seen that there are strengthening ties with countries like Russia, Turkey, Iran, and also there is enhancing military cooperation with Mali, Niger, And the Alliance of Sahel States is an example to many African countries. What it means is this is going to mark a broader rejection of Western influence across Africa. So when you see Ibrahim Traore bringing free health care or free maternal health, that is something which is very commendable, very important, and a right step, a good step in the right direction. And also, there is another issue which was of concern in that region. There is a lot of jihadists in that region. We have seen so many attacks, being meted in Mali, in Burkina Faso, and other countries. And now Ibrahim Traore is creating a culture of anti-jihadists. They are now fighting jihadists like never before. What it means is this is a new stance which is going to influence the anti-jihadist struggle. And Burkina Faso, which is at the heart of the jihadist insurgency in the Sahel, is leading that operation. So they are showing that they can do it without France in their backyard. They're actually showing that they have the power, influence, and capacity to be doing that, because there is a lot of young people are joining voluntarily to fight the jihadists, and like in the past. And there is a general consensus within Burkina Faso in terms of how development is happening. Young people in that country, they are now willing to cooperate. They are now willing to be part and parcel of the government. And, that is what effective leaders do. So the Pan-African rhetoric and youth mobilization Ibrahim Traore is speaking about, it's uniting Africa. It speaks about African unity. It speaks about dignity and freedom. And this is reinvigorating Pan-Africanist ideology. When you look at Thomas Sankara, he was assassinated because of the same stance which is being taken by Ibrahim Traore. When you talk about Patrice Lumumba, you could see the same direction. You can talk of Kwame Nkrumah. These are people who are visionaries about a better Africa. Imagine if they had lived for far much longer, we could have seen a different Africa. And if Ibrahim Traore and the like-minded people are to live, you are going to see the same happening. You are going to see a revolution moving a step forward. So this is a great example. Ibrahim Traore is leading is an exemplary leader in Africa, where he is declaring free health. He declared again free education, and is doing a lot to make sure that the people of Burkina Faso, they benefit. What he did is he simply limited resources going into the pockets of individuals, and the same resources are now going into the pockets of everybody, are now going into the development of the nation, and that is uplifting Burkina Faso. So that is a sign that Africa, it does have potential. We can do it if we want, but it's a matter of leadership. Let us meet in other episodes and other broadcasts.